was so nervous when my sister-in-law brought a new baby over. So I cleaned with Pine Sol liquid. It disinfects and deodorizes. People can always tell when you've cleaned with Pine Sol.
Pine Sol shows you really care about clean.
No diet in the world will help you lose weight until you do one thing: control your appetite.
With Dexatrim, you're just not hungry, so the weight comes off.
Dexatrim. Nothing works harder to help you lose weight.
Dexatrim really works.
ABC News Brief, brought to you by Rolaids. Now from New York, Bob Brown.
Good afternoon. Colonel Oliver North has refused to be interviewed privately by the Iran-Contra committees. All of the earlier witnesses met with investigators before their public testimony. The committee chairmen say this shouldn't make their job more difficult, but it will take longer to question Colonel North publicly. Senate Committee Vice Chairman Warren Rudman told reporters Congress will not seek contempt charges.
I happen to think it's frivolous. And I think if we wish to go to contempt proceedings, we would win them based on precedent, and there is ample.
The Iran-Contra committees did meet privately this morning with North's former boss, Admiral John Poindexter. Betsy North, the wife of Colonel North, reportedly has refused to cooperate with Congress and the federal grand jury investigating the Iran-Contra affair. Mrs. North's name came up when the businessman who helped in the arms deal testified he tried to channel money into a bank account for North's family. The Washington Post says Mrs. North cited the Fifth Amendment when questioned by the grand jury. I'll have more news in a moment. 28 universities across South Korea were closed today in an effort to stop violent protests against the government of President Chun Do-hwan. Secretary of State Schultz says the U.S. is urging Chun to resume talks with opposition leaders, but the United States has only limited influence. The International Olympic Committee says that barring an act of war, the 1988 Olympic Games will be held in Seoul as planned. So far, says the IOC, there has been absolutely no change in plans to hold the Games there. ITT Corporation is pulling out of South Africa. ITT is the third major American company to leave this week following Citicorp and Ford. President Reagan will nominate David Reuter as chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Reuter is a professor of law at Northwestern University. He would replace John Shadd, who left the SEC to become U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands. Now this. Tammy Baker says she and her husband Jim Baker will fight the PTL ministry's efforts to remove them from their home. Speaking tearfully to reporters outside the $1 Million House, Tammy Baker said it belongs to the Bakers and not the troubled TV ministry. Yesterday, Baker was driven by limousine to a local Kmart. And that's News Brief. I'm Bob Brown. More later on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.